Oi, 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 YouTube. Welcome back to another video. Unclench your jaw, get some water. Today, we're doing another gameplay review. I'm very excited. Big shout out to Sheriff Flynn in the Discord for submitting some Onryo gameplay. So, let's dive right in. All right, so we got the Garden of Joy. It's a tough map to play. And we're going for the furthest gen out here. We're checking that. Now, typically when you spawn in Dead by Daylight as killer, right? If you have a large map, so say you spawn out here by Shack, survivors will often spawn as far away from you as possible, so it's not a bad idea to come out here. I do notice that you checked to see, it looks like the cluster of gens is over here, so you kind of have these sort of clusters throughout. There's really nothing back here, so that's kind of where you're facing now. Good to keep note of that, though. So good job so far. You kind of checked the furthest location from you. You're kind of taking a peek around. Good job. You're not just walking one direction. You're doing a good job at kind of spinning multiple directions. Now, there is somebody to your right, actually, which is interesting. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, there's a Dwight over here to your right, interestingly enough, and it sounds like he is out of breath, but it sounds like he's near that car, so that's interesting. Be sure you're keeping your kind of ears perked up, get you a good headset, if you will. Okay. Using our ability, we're gonna warp over. Not too bad of a plan, right? You didn't see any gens that were being worked on. Now, here's my thing as killer on Garden of Joy, and this is going to go for, like, Dead Dog Saloon as well. I would avoid middle building as long as you can. Smart survivors will do that last generator, or that middle generator last. I would avoid that main building. I probably would have, like, dipped back out and checked here, because ultimately, these are easier to defend, and this is a good cluster of gens. So or sort of something like this. I don't know that I'd check middle gen as much. I think I would have came out here and checked something over here instead. Let's see how this pans out, though. Okay. All right, nobody here. I wouldn't get in the habit of checking lockers. I think that might happen sometimes. But ultimately, I think the higher you get in MMR, the less likely that is. A good catch there. Careful. Good hit. It's the obsession. A gen's done already. If I were to bet that gen that was out there is 2 to 3 people, that went pretty quick, considering you were just out there 25 seconds ago. Okay, demanifest. No reason not to. Keep everybody on their toes while you chase. That's a pallet you'll want to break. That's God pallet. On this map, there's not that many God pallets because that main building's expansive enough, but that's a God pallet. You have to break that. He misplayed that horrendously. Good job. Good down. Now, I would be very careful here with the way that you pick up. I think as killer players, we have a tendency to always turn around when we pick up. Remember that this is elevated off the ground, this window. So people on the outside of the window can't see in. They can't flashlight save. So in this case, you would be completely safe to pick up and face this direction. So not that this happens, but be aware of flashlight saves, right? Because you turned around. If somebody wanted a flashlight save, you gave them perfect field of view of that beautiful melty face, you know. Good first down. 4th gen, or 4 gens. Good hook. Okay, so this gen over here to your right after you hook actually is somebody's on there, I think. Again, this comes down to an audio thing. Yeah, the gen to your right had somebody on it. So be a little careful about that. Good job coming back. I don't know if you maybe processed that a little late. And good job not kicking the gen. Too many people would just kick that gen and keep going, but you would be letting the Dwight escape. Okay, demanifest for a little mind game. Okay, so this is interesting. You know the gen to your right pops, like right here. So the gen over here pops, and if you guys don't know about these, remember, if you're a newer player, keep an eye on this arrow when you play killer. This little arrow here tells you where things happened, right, in relation to where you are. So you know that there's somebody over there. That's really good. Okay, a little mind game, demanifest. Good job. And then right here, actually, I think, Flynn, you do a really good job of seeing the Rebecca and seeing the other Dwight right there. So good job calling that out. Okay, good job. Just break it, get it over with, weaken it for later. And good job. This is really smart because you saw them earlier, right? And look, survivors might say, oh, he's camping or something like that, but you're weakening the area. There's no reason for you to just let them get the free unhook if you're still looping someone in the vicinity. Good job pushing off the gen. It's smarter to push the guy off the gen and kind of let them get that unhook than to... Okay, interesting. Good M1. Save the best. Kind of giving you a little bit there, especially since he was mid-animation. He did his dead hard a little late. I wonder if he'd waited if you would have hit him. Now, I don't know that I would hook here. So, like, right now in the landscape of the entire game, so here's the whole map, and then, like, the main building sort of situated back here. This would be this hook. There's also a hook right in front, though. This generator is already knocked out. This one's kind of about to go. I would start skewing the match a little bit more towards this middle hook, because we know that there is a generator right here, right? There's nothing else defensible back here. I would start, instead of going out this way, I'd go out the front door and hook near gens. Really, that's the idea of like what you want to do is you want to hook near gens so you can kind of defend the hook while defending the gen, right? Run people off the gens, kick it. Nobody's going to want to come for that unhook immediately. You want to try to knock out two birds with one stone. You don't want to spread yourself thin. Now, it may have been the fastest hook you thought you could get, so you could get here, so... All in all, not the worst call. Good hit here. Now, I'd personally, I think I would slug this guy. I think I would slug him and pressure... Okay, that's a falling Rebecca. Okay, this isn't going to go well. This isn't going to go well at all. Yeah, that's... Yep. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so there's a few things to break down here. I think this is a good talking point. One is, like, I think I might slug that guy and, like, check on the hook, you know, to take a peek at it. You're right there, right? This is good pressure. Somebody on the ground, somebody on the hook. Pretty close together. Now, here's the concern. So let's break this down. When you down a survivor, say you down him here, but the hook is, you know, this far away. If you have to walk 15 meters or 20 meters, 25 meters, you have to consider how much time that's going to take. Is this walk going to take 7, 8, 9 seconds? Survivors can wiggle on your shoulder for 16 seconds total. Yeah, they can wiggle for 16 and then they drop, right? Unless there's boil over, breakout, things of that nature. So if you have to walk 9 seconds and then somebody gets to body block, you will drop. 9 times out of 10, unless you have 8 stacks of save, and then it's real down to the wire, right? So you have to consider when you down somebody, okay, are there people in front of this hook that are going to body block, right? If you're going to walk that far distance. If the answer is no, then fine, go for it. If the answer is yes, you need to go to a different hook, right? You just need to let that go. And I like the idea here. I think the intent was to pressure them, right? But I think if you're going to pressure them, right, so you're walking, you see Rebecca fall, and then right here. Here's where I'd go, nope, we're not doing it. I'd drop this Dwight, let him slug. I'd run up, I'd get the hit on Rebecca. That's 5 stacks of Save the Best for Last. I'd hit the Dwight, now he has to go mend, and then I'd go chase the Rebecca. Something of that nature. Because then at that point, you have one guy slugged, one guy will be free, and then you're chasing the Rebecca. So 3 people are sort of kind of tied up for a second, right? And that means that only the Felix is getting anything done. And then you maybe hit the Rebecca, then you come back as they try to heal the Dwight. You know what I mean? You really want to keep people tied up here. So when you see this, you have to think about time. And you think, I'm not going to be able to make this. They'll body block this. And this was the right play for them. This is the right play. The same as, like, the same as maybe keeping a slug on the ground is smart. This is the right play. CFD strike. Ooh, yeah. So that whole interaction, you got nothing for it. That could be a game-losing interaction. We'll see. Does he make it? He doesn't make it. Okay, so there's a hook right here. I have a sneaking suspicion that you're not going to hook there. I hope I'm wrong, but let's see. Okay. So, really at this point, and we kind of talked about this, there's nothing out here to defend. There's nothing out here. You really should be hooking near the gens that you want to put pressure on if that is an option to you. Yeah, this is rough. We can hear, we hear people in the main building working on a gen. There's likely people near that middle gen out in the front yard. This is rough. It's a little bit rough. You're not doing too bad. You're definitely doing the best. We have to say you do have a light build. Your build isn't 3 slowdown perks. It is, obviously, it's pretty light, which I admire. I think it's really good. I think it makes you better at chases. You really have to hone in on your decision-making when you're running a build that isn't overbearing or powerful. Not a bad idea. Do you cut her off? She's to your left. She's behind you. Oh, no. We opened a locker. Okay. I could see how you could conflate the breathlessness for her being in the locker. That's rough. Yeah, we got to get back on we got to get back pressure in something somewhere. Let's see where we're going. These bloodstains go right. Okay, this is good. That guy goes all the way right. So this is interesting. I don't think I'd chase this, Felix. I know you've hooked him once. I don't think I'd chase him. I'm gonna be really real. You saw the scratch marks that went left towards the other gen, and I think you made the really nice guy play of like, oh, he just got unhooked. At this point, I know this doesn't feel great that Dwight would have been hooked a 3rd time in a row. You're on Garden of Joy with no slowdown. It's a tough call. I don't think you made a bad call. I think you made a nice guy call, which I respect the shit out of. Okay. Aha! Okay, we found everybody. Hey. Unfortunately, Spirit Fury getting some value, but, like, kind of also being wasted a little bit. But, because you would have got that hit anyway. So, good job on the slug here. I hope you go after this Dwight just for a second. Yeah. See, so I'm going to be honest with you. That Dwight is on Death Hook. He's out here fucking around. He needs to find out. You know what I mean? He could be on a gen. He could be hiding. I respect you. You're playing nice. I respect it. Now, I would hook on the hook to your left there. Because I have a feeling you're going to hook in the basement. And basement's normally not bad. I think hooking in basement's smart if you can be near the basement to defend it a little bit. But if you're going to leave the basement, you wasted 7-8 more seconds than you needed to walking all the way down. Because here's the thing. You're not going to defend the basement. Or you're going to manifest and go chase somebody or something like that. You're not going to be here. So there's not much pressure to be had by putting in the basement. Okay, so we see a Felix out here. We saw him walk, and then he just sort of hid behind this, which is really interesting. So I wonder what happens here. Do you catch him? Okay. Dry kick's not a bad idea. Okay, hold on now. So we see this lump right here. We see this Felix. Now, watch him, because he's going to start walking. And he kind of walks there a little bit. And then I think he kind of gets away with it. Yeah, he's right here. Yeah, he kind of gets away with it. Let's see. Let's see if we catch him here, though. There. Okay, that's a good hit. Felix is on, he's not on Death Hook. Ooh, I don't know if I'd take this. I think I'd let him just go heal with his med kit in the corner. Because right now, what you're chasing in this main building, you're not putting any pressure on the gens you need to be putting pressure on. You know. Yeah, he's taking you really far away. Oof. Yeah, I think I would be more mindful. The Rebecca is probably back near Shaq. There's probably a Dwight healing her. I would down him. I would probably just slug him at this point. I would down him and then warp back over there, right? A person that's not able to heal themselves is going to pull it. He might have Unbreakable, right? But somebody's going to want to come out and probably heal him. And then I would maybe run over there. Maybe you get Rebecca. Maybe you get Dwight. And people are scattered. They're staggered a little. You're buying yourself some time. The pickup out here is just giving them plenty of time to be on gens. No, it's not the worst idea. We'll see how it pans out. Like, I think you're playing very nice. You're playing down one guy, pick another guy up. Or down a guy, pick a guy up. But tactical slugging. I think a lot of people assume that slugging means drop somebody and bleed them out. But I think leaving someone so that a teammate has to come get them is important. Okay, Rebecca just healed. Did they heal Shack basement or did they heal out here? Now, one thing to note with the Onryo, you do have line of sight blockers here. So what I would do is use a little bit more directional pressure. Go out a little bit and approach from this direction. We know that there is like a jungle gym here that he's going to sprint to. So if you approach from here, he's going to leave out this way. If you approach from this direction, he might run into you or he'll just have to run away, which gives him not a lot of time to do anything. So think about the area you're coming from. They will run the opposite way 9 times out of 10. So I think, and again, once you get closer, Sadako is not fully invisible. Yeah, so he gets to get away. Okay. I gave you praise earlier. I gave you some praise earlier for this. But you're at 1 gen, you need to commit to a chase. Kicking that gen doesn't matter, because I guarantee that Dwight comes right back to it. It regressed like none at all. We'll see what happens. Okay, you're not going to go after Felix? Okay, you're playing the nice guy. I respect it. Is she going to pull you away? She is. She went left, actually. Let's see if you catch that. I think it's so easy to get. I still get lost with scratches, so, there's no exact science. You're doing your best. I don't know that I'd be here. I think 2 people injured. They're going to want to heal up. I think I would get out of here. Again, I don't think we're staying objective focused. I know you do have to commit to somebody eventually. But this is why Sadako's power is not super strong. The TVs. Why turn them off when you can run from them so early that it doesn't matter? So that's the thing. We just learned that you kicked it and left. The Dwight came right back. What's the point of kicking it again? 2.5% regression? That's a second and a half, 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds of it doesn't matter, right? The Dwight's going to come right back and it won't matter too much. So you're wasting more time than you're actually gaining by kicking it here. Now, if you had Call of Brian and if you had Overcharge, different scenario. You might get a little bit more value out of it. But right now, he's going to come right back. Doesn't matter if you kick it. What are you saving, Now, you do have to consider, it's interesting here. They unhooked near the shack. You hooked somebody in the basement. They unhooked there earlier. Is it hard to fathom that they might be on that gen by the shack, right? Yep, there it goes. That's what I was thinking. You have to think, where am I hooking people? Where did I hook people? And did that show them where an obvious gen was? That's where they would be, versus like the gen that's out of the way that they may have forgotten about or something like that. Good job. You're not respecting pallets or anything. That was weird. I feel like you should have been stunned by that. Okay. DBDBD. Smasher pass with Dwight. Okay. A little red light mind game. Ooh, lost in the sauce. He actually went out to the road. Yeah, he went out and just kind of held W. Felix? I'd commit to somebody here. Okay, Rebecca healed with her medkit. I'd commit to Felix. Felix is not running towards any doors whatsoever. He's running to a dead zone on the map. I would commit to Felix. He is on death hook, but like an extra hook, 6 hooks, 1 death. That's a match that makes me feel a little bit better, Right now, I worry that we're getting a little greedy. Because, if you put somebody on who's on death hook and you kill them, everyone else is going to leave. So I feel like we're trying to get a little bit more here. Which is not a bad idea, but you risk losing all of it. Got a little stuck. Where's she headed? Are we going to commit to Rebecca, maybe? No, okay. Just not committing to really anybody. And then he gets out. Is everybody else at the other door? Oof. That's tough. That is a tough match. You know, Garden of Joy, huge map with a main building that just is designed very particularly. That's rough. Your build isn't doing you any favors. One, you know, I think that you kind of need to keep in the back of your head that you're trying to keep pressure on areas. Your existence is pressure, right? So I think we need to pick wiser hooks when we're hooking people. And I think we need to start thinking maybe in terms of time, right? If you down somebody and you're carrying them, how much time is that going to take? What's the distance between me and my hook? And are there people there that are going to take my time? So you have to be very aware of that. I think that dropping that Dwight, this Dwight right here, I think dropping him, I think that cost you an insane amount of pressure. It could have been game-changing if you slug him, go for somebody else. It could have brought it back. You maybe could have got 8, 9 hooks, you know, different game entirely. So definitely judge that distance a little bit better, you know, and try to think of the math involved. Oh, this is really far away. What is it going to be, an 8-second walk? And then, oh, they might body block. So try to think of that stuff. The other thing is, don't kick the gens. I praised you early on in this match, but look, if you have overcharge, Call of Brine, pop, things like that, okay, kicking makes a little bit more sense. But if you're going to kick it and walk away and give somebody else space to walk right back to it, what's the point of kicking it? You're wasting your own time. You have to remember that, you know, as a killer player, your time is infinitely valuable. Where are you spending that time? I think you played really nice, guy. You downed a guy and you picked him up and you took him to a hook. And I think it might do you a little bit more good to be carrying and then drop somebody and say, you know what? Nah, I got to get something here, right? I know a lot of survivors, when they talk about slugging, they hate slugging. They think slugging means bleeding somebody out. But slugging is to generate pressure, to have a survivor that just cannot progress the objective for a duration of time while you're keeping another survivor tied up, right? This is the way of playing killer in Dead by Daylight. Healing and slugging are the built-in slowdown mechanics of the game. So play with that in mind. I think you played nice, which is admirable. But I think you did well. I appreciate you for submitting. What do you guys think in the comment section down below? Of course, let us know. Get your own submissions in, obviously. If you are playing consistently and you're like, I'm not sure what's going on, I'd love to help out. You guys are all doing great. Sheriff Lynn, moi, you're phenomenal. And I wish you well on your Sadako journeys, my friend. Thank you guys for being here. And of course, I will be praying to the entity to see you in the next videos.